phoned her and I said, "Am I Jewish?" She said, "Yeah." So, and then I had to find proof. My grandmother was buried in Sao Paulo in Brazil, so the rabbis wanted to see, if she was Jewish.
And then you remained in this moshav?
No, I stayed for 2 months,
yeah.
And then I left. I had some very strong experiences when, for example, a week after being on the moshav, I was asked to lift up the Sefer Torah. I don't remember the occasion, but it was something so I went to lift the Sefer Torah, and it was so heavy that I couldn't lift it. I just could not lift it. And then I tried again, and I finally lifted it, and when I lifted it and opened it for everybody to see, I started crying and crying and crying. And I was very embarrassed because I was saying to myself, "You must stop crying in front of all these people," but I couldn't. I kept crying, and I didn't know why I was crying. And I just kept crying, and I felt like my whole heart opened, and that everything that I did in my life was for this moment, and I was finally home. And I just kept crying and crying, and I didn't know where it was coming from.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And when you come back?
So then we went to New Zealand, because we decided we didn't want to live in a religious moshav, but we were going to keep Shabbos and everything. But we went to New Zealand because it's known as God's country. It's a very beautiful country. And we went, and New Zealand's very far away. It's further than Australia, another 5,000 kilometers. And we got there, and it was like coming to Gan Eden, to the Garden of Eden, when you're not ready. Because it was too perfect. Everybody was nice, it's easy to get a job, it's a beautiful country, everything's easy, it's too easy. Right? And I said to myself, I'm never going to become a man here. It's too easy here. And I wanted to go back to Eretz Israel because there it's a challenge. There it's difficult. And there you have to bring the best out of yourself. So I was confused because all my belongings were coming to New Zealand, and I had spent a lot of money, and I was so confused that I remember that night I woke up my little daughter, who was 3 years old, and I asked her in her deep sleep, she was like half asleep, I said, Tara, where should we go? And she said immediately, let's go back to Modim. And so the next day, we drove the car, because we had bought a second-hand car. We drove the car to the airport, and we left a note saying this car has been abandoned. And we left, and we flew back to Israel via India. We stopped in India for a little while because I wanted to. There was a few things I had to work out, because I was still thinking maybe I would live in India, because for me, India was a special place. But when we got there, we just realized we had to keep going. So we came back to Israel, and we stayed there for 18 years.
Okay. And what you do now in Israel?
Well, I'm a painter. I make a living as a painter, and I make hopefully beautiful paintings that make Jews want to come back to Eretz Israel and to come back to the Torah. So that's my work in the world now. So I travel and I show my paintings and I sell my paintings, and then I go back home and I paint some more, and then I go again.
You're a farmer.
I'm also a farmer. I had a few years ago, I had 30 sheep and 4 goats and 50 chickens and a horse and 2 donkeys and 2 dogs. It's like having a lot of children, it's like having 50 children. And I tried to become a shepherd, but to become a shepherd you need at least 150 sheep.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the finances for it. But maybe one day, when I become a famous artist, B'ezrat Hashem.
I think so. You deserve to be a famous artist.
Amen.
Yes, I say that. Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure.